Good evening, everybody. Oh, I can tell that my avatar is a little bit behind today, but that's okay. This is my very first chill and chat stream. I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes for everybody to get in and get settled in. Yeah, I can't believe that this is the first time I'm doing this in the entire time that I've been streaming. But that's okay because at some point, there's a first for everything. So, yeah. Um I need to find some non-copyright music to play in the background so there's at least something. Let's see. Let's see. This one should be good. So, how is everybody doing tonight? Y'all doing good? Y'all excited for Christmas? Let's see if I can fix the avatar problem. Let's see here. Begin capture. Should be working now. There we go. Oh, wait, no, there's still some kind of delay. Alright, let's see. I think that's fixing it. I think. Just give me 1 second, yo. And I also see that somebody joined, so hi, hello. Welcome in. How you doing tonight? Let's see, did that fix it? It looks like that did. Okay, perfect. So, I suppose I can start out this chat and chill stream with a little bit about myself, because I think this is the very first time I've really sat down and done this. So, my name's Pbee, as you guys should possibly know by this point. Let's see. What's a good icebreaker to start with? I'm gonna talk about some of my likes and dislikes, I suppose. Let's see. My God, I'm sorry. I'm really shy right now. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Let's... maybe some fun facts about myself. I am 5'10". One of my favorite colors is red, and I also like shades of blue. There's gonna be a lot of ums, and I really apologize about that in advance. But let's see. Colors. I watch anime. My big anime is Bleach and Naruto. I grew up I didn't grow up watching them, but as a teenager, I picked them up after my brother started me in anime with Full Metal Alchemist and Neon Genesis Evangelion, which was in the group of one of my first sets of anime. And then as I started watching it more, I started like trying different ones and could never really get into the big three at first. But as time went on and as things went on, I started to find that I started to enjoy the styles of anime that are more like action-y, friendship-y, bloody, gory, you know, that kind of thing. And at some point in my anime watching, I started watching all those weird, like, out there horror animes and stuff like that, and it was interesting. It was... I'm trying to... I'm so shy right now. Let me see here. Yeah, I watched anime growing up, and a lot of cartoons like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblade, and those kind of fun shows. I was into Pokemon for a while too. I definitely remember that. You know, some of these other creators, I don't know how they do it, because I'm sitting here like feeling so weird talking about myself or interacting, and it feels weird. I'm not used to doing this, like, even a little bit. So this feels like something very, very different from what I usually do. Let's see. Talk a little bit about anime. Video games. Can talk about those. I am a huge, huge role-playing game fan. And I mean, like, really huge. I'm talking like I've played Final Fantasy, I've played a lot of the older Kingdom Hearts games, I've played a ton of the Legend of Zelda games. There's... okay, my avatar's not working again. My god. Alright, let's see if that fixed it. I am not off to a great start. It's okay though. Move this down here. And oh, my avatar is not, it's not detecting it again. Why is it doing that? Hello? Test, test. 1, 2. My avatar is not moving. Alright, let's try closing Honk again and getting it reopened, and let's see if that fixes it a little bit. Hopefully, maybe, eventually, possibly. Or 2100. That's why. Okay. There we go. Now it should be working how it's supposed to. I grew up playing Minecraft a bit. I remember that. I think I started playing Minecraft when it was version like 1. I think it was 1.05 or 1.15 or something like that, but it was a long, long time ago. And I grew into those role-playing games because of Minecraft and the other games like that. It was the big ones for me were Minecraft, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess was a huge game for me that, like, really, I think, made my tastes dive into the style of role-playing games and dark fantasy and that kind of thing. And eventually, I remember starting to play some of the retro stuff too, because I got curious about it as a teenager, you know? So I started playing some of the Earthbound games on an emulator on my phone. And at one point, I don't remember exactly when, but at some point in college, I started collecting retro video games because I'd always liked video games, and I thought that, you know, hey, these YouTubers that I'm watching, like AVGN, Metal Jesus Rocks, and a bunch of others, they're inspiring me to start collecting. And when I was a kid, my parents would tell you that I broke a lot of controllers and destroyed a lot of discs as a kid and did a lot of things, and they are right, because my worst crash out with a game was on the Nintendo Wii. Was playing Skyward Sword, and I don't remember exactly where I got stuck, but the point is, after playing it for a while, I got so mad at it that I unplugged it from the TV. So, like, took the connections off or whatever, and I threw the Wii at the wall across the room. Like, I am not proud of that moment. I'm gonna be real with you. But, I've definitely learned from that, because now that I collect the video games that I do, and the consoles that I do and whatnot, I have learned my lesson. Because if my parents, say for example, took one of the consoles and threw it at a wall when they were upset, I would have been pissed too. But yeah, so there's a little bit of backstory on video games for me. I listen to some other topics that I could talk about. Is I listen to a lot of different music, though I tend to lean towards one specific kind of music because I grew up with my dad being into like the old school rock and roll and old school metal and stuff like that. And then my mom was into, I want to call it like hip-hop almost, like the Black Eyed Peas, Lady Gaga, etc. And I tried to find a medium for that because I couldn't really decide what I liked as a kid. And I also should mention that my grandma listened to a lot of country. So I tried to pick something that was different from both my dad, my mom, and her. And I started listening to dubstep, and after a while started getting into the more hardcore stuff, like listening to, for example, genre or artists like Anger Fist and Skrillex, Zomboy, etc. And since then, my musical taste has developed from listening to dubstep and hardcore to listening to anime music, which again, I said that I probably didn't say that, but I watched a lot of anime when I was growing up. I'm talking like by now I have probably seen and completed around 300 to 500 separate animes, because there were times when I was in middle school / high school, more high school than anything, but middle school, high school, I was watching like 6 or 7 different animes every other week, because I wanted to watch everything I could. I wanted to try everything that I could and experiment with absolutely everything I could, and it was just, it worked. Like, I found that the animes that I like are a little bit on the darker side. They're a little bit more gory and violent than what most people are, like, comfortable with but that's okay, because there's a lot of weird things about me. I'm gonna be honest. I am a weird bunny, okay? I am extremely weird. But in saying that, that weirdness also, I feel like, makes me really unique, because a lot of the friends that I have and a lot of the streamers that I have tolerate me. But yeah, there's movies. There's one. There was a lot of movies that I watched as a kid, but the ones that stuck out for me and the ones that I am still like super into today, we can talk about Lord of the Rings and movies like Maze Runner, and a little bit later in my life, but we could talk about the Divergent movies and that group of like dystopian style movies. I love them, and I don't know why. It's like a thing for me. When Avatar came out, I was amazed by that movie. When it, like, I love the dystopian, futuristic style of those types of movies. Yeah, I'm still trying to think of stuff. I'm really sorry. I am extremely socially awkward. What to talk about? Let's see. Talked a little bit about anime, a little bit about video games, a little bit about movies. I suppose a little bit more about myself. To talk about favorite foods, I love pizza. I most definitely love pizza, and I also like chicken Alfredo, I suppose, is one of my favorite foods. Say chicken Alfredo, could say yeah, chicken Alfredo is like the main favorite food for me, but I also like a lot of chips, snacks, and energy drinks, which isn't really food if we're being honest, but I like I'll mention it anyway. I like Doritos, I like the Utz chips. I'm a big fan of dill pickle chips and salt and vinegar and barbecue. Those types of flavors of chips I love. You just can't really mess it up for those flavors that are a little bit more on the salty side, you know? But out of every, like, I also like sour cream and onion chips, like brands that do that, like Utz and Pringles. That's another good one. It's Pringles. Pringles are the best. I absolutely love them. Again, pizza flavor, sour cream and onion flavor, barbecue flavor. I like taquitos. I like grilled cheese. This is terrible. I feel so nervous right now, and I don't know why. subject of energy drinks, I used to drink those a lot, significantly more than I do now, thankfully. But at the same time, I still admit to drinking them on a more regular basis than I should. I drink Monsters, C4s, Reigns, Bangs, but the only energy drink company I have found that, despite trying each of their flavors, I could not get into is Red Bull. And I know that's going to come as a little bit of a weird one, but it's the only one out of everything that I've had that I have not found a single flavor that I'm like, yes, this is how it should taste. Whereas other ones like C4s and Bangs and whatever the case may be, even though you can tell they taste chemically, they taste a lot closer to what they're supposed to, in my opinion, than most of the other energy drinks out there. Though with that in mind, recently, like within the past, I don't know, 2-3 months or so, I have been drinking Celsius powders instead of those other energy drinks. Because I've noticed that the Celsius ones, they work a little bit better than the Monsters and C4s do. I know there's a little less caffeine, and arguably the Celsius are even worse for you. I don't know, maybe it's my palate, maybe it's my taste buds, I don't know. But, you know, I drink a lot of energy drinks, and honestly, I'd look for a sponsor if they ever reached out to me and were like, hey, you want to sponsor us? I'll be like, yeah, absolutely, count me in. But odds are it's not going to happen that way, honestly. I just noticed that the music that I was trying to play in the background isn't loud enough. So let's see if that fixes it right quick. There we go. Okay, now I can actually hear it. So, yeah, I also used to drink a lot more soda than I do now. Out of all the sodas that I've had, I think Dr. Pepper and Sprite are the ones that I still like out of everything. But then again, I don't drink much soda anymore because I drink the energy drinks, so it is what it is, I suppose. Still trying to think of other smaller things to talk about. I used to like Legos, and I still do, but at this point in time, to where I am the age that I am, I don't play with Legos that much anymore, which is fine, because, you know, that should be kind of expected, given that I am kind of getting older. I'm in my 20s. I'm not gonna say exactly what my age is, but you guys can figure that out. Let's see. Talked about favorite colors, talked about this, that, and the other thing. I'm a big tech guy. Like, I love technology and the way it's, like, as advanced as it is. I grew up kind of in that middle space to where there were times to where I would be in front of both really old technology and brand new stuff. Like, as an example, I grew up with a DVD and a VCR combo side by side, an old tube TV. But in that same right, I also had my parents had an Xbox, and we and my brother probably had a Nintendo 64, a smartphone at a young age, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't get addicted to it as I am now. So I can only imagine what it would have been like if I was younger and on my own. But I love tech. I find it so fascinating how all of it works. And my brother used to be a computer tech for Staples. And from him, I kind of got that like little bit of techie side of, oh, I want to understand this. So I suppose that in a sense I've been slowly following some of his footsteps and maybe building my own computer and all the tech that I have surrounding me, because I have a bunch of old video game consoles. It's just overall, I have a lot of tech influence in my life, and I kind of love it. I'm running out of things to talk about for the road, I'll be sure. Oh, the weather. It's chilly. Like, really chilly. Where I live, it was windy all day. It just felt colder than what it has been lately because of the winds and all that extra stuff. Wind, dark, cold, winter, you know, all that stuff. All that wonderful stuff that everybody likes. And I'm totally not the only one. No, let me be honest, I probably am the only one that likes snow and rain. I'm the type of person that would choose to go for a walk in, like, on a cloudy day when it's raining and cold outside, just because it's cold and rainy outside. And that's a very, very weird thing about me, is I find the rain extremely calming to the point to where if it's like cold, freezing rain, I will happily go for a walk and walk to like a nearby gas station or store or something and just hang around in the rain. Like, I don't know exactly how to describe it. It's more soothing than most things to me, which is might be weird, might not be weird. Yeah, that's a bit of me. I am a weird bun, very weird, and I'm proud of it. Let's see. Oh, this stream's gonna be on the shorter side. To be honest with you, I was only planning for streaming for maybe an hour or two, maybe even three, depending on how things go. But yeah, that's kind of oh, I love extremely cheesy humor. Like, I know it is bad, okay? I fully understand that the dad jokes are terrible, the corny jokes are terrible, but I find it hilarious. And I don't know why. I think maybe it's because it's like the inner child in me or something. It's like, oh yeah, haha, funny joke, it's corny, it's cheesy, it's whatever. I suppose I really like corny jokes, even if they are extremely stupid. They're extremely stupid. As that's actually a subject I could talk about. TV shows. I'll start with the big three for me. Like the absolute biggest three shows that I've watched. Okay? The first one is going to be Sons of Anarchy. The second one is going to be Game of Thrones. And if I had to pick a third, it would either be the show ER, which I didn't grow up watching, but watched it in recent years with my mom, 15 seasons, and Heroes, which unfortunately isn't talked about that much anymore. I know it had like 2 seasons and just never, I don't know if that show ever finished, but I loved the idea of heroes, like having powers and to talk about animated movies, so I definitely watched those as a kid. I most definitely watched those. I loved The Incredibles. I loved most Pixar movies. One of my favorite movies from Pixar or Disney or whatever, whichever one is Wall-E or Bugs Life. Those are all like fantastic movies, in my opinion at least. Seriously, still trying to think of other things to talk about here. Simple fun. He's weird, but he's simple. Likes anime, likes video games, likes movies and TV shows. I'm not the most athletic type, and sports-wise, I actually did play tennis for a couple of years, but I dropped it and then just never picked it back up. I like the sports that I actually watch every once in a while are like I watch baseball a little bit. I watch hockey a little bit too, but the only sport that I have actually played is tennis and a little bit of basketball in middle school. I wasn't very good, honestly. I tried, but I wasn't good. Certain family members look down on it. Certain ones are emotional, respectfully. But I've always found it like really hard to talk about myself because I'm being shunned for a lot of things that I like to others. You know, it makes it a little difficult. But the point of this is to kind of help me get a little bit over that and maybe let people know a little bit about it. So, I'm a hoodie guy. I have a couple of really cool hoodies, like I have one that's a Blockbuster hoodie, and I have one from college, because I don't feel like I have a lot of interesting stuff to tell you, to talk about, right? Because it's different. And like, the way I'm doing it now is I'm picturing I'm talking to one of my best friends and just being like, being a little bit more me, you know? And I doubt that any of this is really gonna take off, but I am still going to try and give it my best shot. So I think that's one of the qualities about me is I push as hard as I can to the point where it's almost like I try to push as hard as I can because I'm not really sure how to word it. I'm a determined person, I suppose. I suppose I'm a very, like, around and a very determined person and a hard-working person. That would be a small subject we could talk about. For work, I am, as of right now, at this point in time, I am a cashier. But I also do stuff like janitorial stuff and bagging and getting cards and customer service and all that stuff. I won't say which company I wanted to, but they don't need to know about this. They don't need to know anything about this. Oh, I'm a dog person. I love dogs and cats and, okay, maybe I'm an animal person then. There was a time at my house to where we had 2 dogs and 6 cats. When I was growing up, I can remember all their names, including Sandy, Froggy, Abby, Alex, and Whisper. Whisper is still alive. In fact, she has been the one that you've been hearing meow every once in a while on the stream. Froggy was my cat because, as my parents told me in the story, my brother might have had like a box of kittens or cats or whatever. He told me that there was a frog in the closet. So when I was young, I went up to the closet and pointed at one of them and called them Froggy. So I definitely remember that cat because it was an orange cat, and those cats are adorable. In fact, all animals are adorable. Cats, dogs, honestly, even like guinea pigs, hamsters, and all of those types of they're adorable. I love them so much. For arts and crafts stuff, I used to like doing puzzles for a little while, and making paper airplanes as a kid. I loved that too. I don't know if I still do, but it was fun. shy. Yeah, I'm shy. I try my best to be social, but I am a very antisocial person. Like, I am happy to have another person around. It's just, I don't need you to talk to me all the time, because if you do, I start getting like, okay, he's talking too much. Starting to drain my battery just by being around him, you know? But that's me personally, because I've never really been too talkative, and I know by how much I've been talking in like the past 30, 40 minutes, you'd think otherwise, but I am a very antisocial person. I try to hide in my room most of the day. Sometimes I play games or just be out of everyone's way kind of thing. And then when I'm not doing that, I am working and working as hard as I can. Think of other conversation topics. Even though I don't make it very public, I do also like flowers a little bit. They smell nice. And honestly, if I was ever given flowers, I'd feel very warm on the inside, because it's not typically something that you gift to mail, I suppose. I think that they're pretty. Ooh, there's one. I am a very, like, scenery person. So, as an example, if I go on vacation and I'm in a very beautiful place, there will be so many photos of the surroundings and so many photos of other things except for me, because I don't like taking pictures of myself, and it's not anything to do with confidence. I feel like the world's so pretty, and it should be focused on more than the people in it, kind of thing. And I don't know if that's a weird thing or not, but I like scenery. I like looking out and just seeing mountains and rivers and trees and all of that stuff. And I'm a little bit of an outdoor person. Just a teeny tiny bit, because I used to go camping all the time as a kid and loved it, and still want to do it as an adult. But again, it's kind of contradictory, because I'm also antisocial and like to hide in the dungeon. But yeah, like vacation wise, I find things relaxing when I can just go out and look at scenery, watch the world move around me, kind of thing. One of my weird quirks. Maybe it's not a weird quirk, but I suppose some of the vacation spots I've been to, even though I live in the Northeast, I have gone south a little bit, I've gone west a little bit, and I've gone even farther north. I think the farthest south I've ever been is Florida, and the farthest out west I've been is Indiana, and that was during college, and that's a whole other can of worms. But I've definitely gone out to Indiana a little bit and seen some of Ohio and Pennsylvania and New York. Oh, I used to be, and I don't know if I still am, but I used to be a very, very big amusement park person too, because we went to the amusement park a lot when I was a kid. So I've always kind of loved roller coasters and rides and the theme park games and whatever you want to call it, because it's fun. You know, like I would hang out if I could, and if I had a large enough group of friends, I would hang out with them at a theme park. Like, swear to God, on my life, spend the whole day there, and I'd be happy every moment of it. And I'd also be talking their ears off about roller coaster facts. I would definitely be a character. Like I said, another food, even though this is just kind of a random thought here, is I love kettle corn. Specifically kettle corn from Six Flags. I don't know why, I don't know what they do to it or how they do it, but it's good. Every time I go there, it's kettle corn. I must get kettle corn. I know I'm backtracking a little bit too, but movie-wise, I'm also into superheroes a little bit. I'm not crazy with it. Like, I know a few of the Marvel and DC characters, but I like Spider-Man, I like Doctor Strange, I like Batman. I think that Robert Pattinson's Batman was one of the best ones. Because I like the darker, grittier style of Detective Batman versus action-y Batman. I like Shazam and the Flash a little bit. Like the newer Flash. I haven't watched the show or watched many of the other movies, but the new Flash movie that came out like a couple years ago is one of my favorite modern superhero movies. I like Invincible, I like The Boys. What do you think, Kitten? That's the other nickname, Kitten. That's Whisper's nickname, Kitten. She's currently licking her arm. Not focused on it, it's fine. You guys can tell I'm crazy if you're trying to figure out a conversation. Good conversation with a cat. See, I've talked a lot about movies and games and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm like sitting here trying to figure out, you know, other stuff to talk about. Even though the camera is not on right now, I am I'm secretly flying around in Minecraft in the background while I work on talking to you guys and just letting you guys know more about myself. probably gonna end up doing is at the 1 hour mark, because this is going to be a very short stream compared to most of my other ones, because I also work tomorrow and I have to be in early. I'll look up a couple extra conversation starters on my phone, and I'll give you guys a little bit more information about me only if you're curious, though. What's your guys' opinion on some of the foods that I've mentioned, or some of the shows, or some of the animes? Because I don't think I got into huge detail about the anime, but I have seen a lot of them, especially in like middle school, high school area. I've since died down, and I suppose currently I'm only watching like 2 or 3. Actually, it might be closer to 5. So, animes that I'm currently on, or currently waiting for stuff to come out for, is JJK, Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War, Part 4, whatever it is, Demon Slayer. I'm waiting for another one of the movies to come out. Gachuta or something like that. I started watching it. I meant to pick it back up, but haven't quite yet. And I suppose the same thing will go for yeah, those are pretty much the only anime I'm watching this season. Oh, I started watching Free Rent a little bit ago, like maybe a couple months ago. And I want to finish that series and catch up, but the problem is that it's not quite finished yet, and I'm only like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 episodes into the first season. Oh, I like singing a little bit, even though I don't do it all the time, because I can tell you a little bit about that story. When I was a kid, I used to be in a children's choir, and I used to love to sing a little bit, and even though my parents were trying to get me to sing, I never did, because I don't know how exactly to describe it, but singing is really nice for me, and it's hard for me to like sing because I have a extreme social anxiety, to where even now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm sitting here wondering, thinking, oh my god, I'm talking way too much, I'm not being entertaining enough, I'm doing this, that, and the other thing, and it's, oh, sorry, slowly going off subject. I was in a children's chorus, and basically what happened was puberty hit, and the high pitch, good singing voice that I thought I had, I lost that touch and stopped singing because I thought I had permanently lost my ability to sing. And then in church too, when I used to try to sing, there was actually a family or a group that thought I was making fun of their music by the way I sung, and that was my natural singing voice. Hence, now where my singing voice is much deeper, I suppose it sounds a little more natural than how it used to, but it's, yeah, I stopped singing in public or singing around really anybody because I get so nervous and feel like even though it's my actual singing voice, now I feel like I'm sort of making fun of it when I try to sing. And that's just a small anxiety I've had for a very long time. Which is why another one of these streams this month, I'm actually forcing myself to sing. That stream will be very interesting because it's going to take a lot for me to sit down and be like, this is what I gotta do. I have to safe. Either I do it or I don't need to. I used to be pretty okay with certain impressions. I can't do them as well anymore either. But I used to be able to do the snail girl from Monsters Inc. And sometimes as a joke, I'll make like a Fat Albert joke, or I can do Peter Griffin's laugh. I still have some of the impressions down. It's just it's hard to really like put impressions into something. Unless, well, for me, it doesn't quite make sense to do it. But yeah, there's where else do that? So yeah, I'm going to do a very short intermission at the 1 hour mark, and the stream is only going to be like 2 hours because there aren't too many viewers. I'm running out of topics, and Pbee is very bad at socializing. He tries, but he's bad. And so wants to talk about himself, but also doesn't want to talk your ear off. But it's probably done that anyway. So you know, it's something different for me. New, different, but it's nice. You know, it's nice to actually like be able to tell somebody and tell other people or whoever's watching this really about yourself. So not as much of a mystery. Even though I do believe the mystery makes me more interesting, I also think that I'm somebody who just wants to go with the flow. And whatever you probably like, chances are it'll be something that I like. And if I don't, I'll tell you. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick short intermission to catch my breath and work some stuff up. So I will be right back. Getting it set back up. Just one sec. Once you want some taquitos. Chicken and cheese. Read a lot of the Harry Potter books growing up. And I also read a lot of the Diary of the Wimpy Kid books. Definitely remember those because I stopped reading it after like my 8th or 9th book. Goosebumps is a huge series I used to love as a kid. That spooky horror stuff was amazing. And to be honest, I still love spooky horror stuff because I like horror movies, and I would pick them up and read them again if I could. I remember a long time ago I used to read Goosebumps books that were like Say Cheese and Die, Night of the Living Dummy, The Mask. Like those were all great Goosebumps books. And the same goes for some of the Stephen King books and stuff like that. I've read those as of recently, like within the past couple of years kind of thing. But I definitely love the spookier side of things. And I definitely could, pick it up again at some point if I ever do. That didn't be very fun. That wasn't a good conversation starter. I suppose if I had to pick a favorite hobby, it would honestly be like collecting video games. But I've already mentioned that, so I can't do that. most of it. When I was a kid, I wanted to get into cars, like become a mechanic kind of thing, and maybe eventually repair NASCARs and stuff like that. But life had other plans for me. I remember there was a time when I was a kid where I could look at legitimately, I could look at a set of taillights on a car, not even see the badge, not even see what like model of car it was, and know exactly which one it was, just from looking at the taillights. But I don't think I have that talent anymore, because most of the cars, I hate to say it, look very similar, same nowadays. Mitsubishis, I used to call them Mitsubishis, but I don't know where that came from or what it stemmed from. But yeah, I legitimately used to have a huge love for vehicles and cars. And when I was in middle school, high school, because I went to a trade school, I actually picked up a shop class for mechanics and went off to college to try to become a NASCAR mechanic. But that, I suppose that's not really what life had intended for me, because I remember struggling pretty much from day one in the trade, because I had my own car per se. I never worked on it like I was supposed to on weekends or whatever, and I suppose it just kind of dropped off after college, and then I lost interest in the mechanic side of things. Now, I am still very, very much into cars, but I look at them in a different light now, and the racing games that I play are just fun. Like, I don't want to do that kind of thing anymore in terms of repairing cars and stuff, but I know that it's always going to be a part of me, and it's going to be a very, very deep part of my heart for a very, very long time. Honestly, I'm probably never going to get over it, and that's okay. I put all my eggs in one basket, thinking that, once I become a mechanic and everything, I was going to go for it, I was going to get it, and of course that isn't exactly how it happened, because I'm here now, streaming and doing really basic work, I call it. I work hard, but it's not like it's a demanding job per se. I think by the long moments of silence, you guys can tell that I am struggling to word things and struggling to come up with topics to talk about. I suppose I could go back onto the subject of food. Candy-wise, I used to. I like sweets, though I don't have them as much as I used to, because I snack a lot on pretzels and chips and, junky food. Shoot, honestly, I might understand. Can't come up with any notes, and I don't want to have anything so quiet. Oh, for comedy stuff, like humor and stuff, I know I said I lean towards like really corny jokes, but there are some comedies that I like too, like Mrs. Doubtfire, Grown Ups. Adam Sandler's really good. I watch Husband Hotel and Hell of a Boss, and I like both of those shows too. Even though those are newer. What kind of movies do y'all like? Do you like, or what kind of foods or anything? Anything at all? Tell me. Yeah, I want to learn about you guys too. You know, I probably should have said that right at the start. I want to learn a lot about you guys. You know. I'd love to know your favorite foods or movies or games or music or anything really. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna leave it short and sweet. I can, yeah, I'll stick around for like 10 more minutes. 'Cause it doesn't seem like there's anybody here, which is fine. Oh, I'm struggling. Struggling to come up with stuff to talk about, struggling to keep myself calm. This is different. Nice, but different. Let's see. Something. Come on, baby. Think of something. Pickles. I'm just kidding. What to talk about? I suppose I should mention that the background image that you guys see here, I just picked off the internet because I wasn't able to get a good photo of my actual like living space to have this as a background for this. I have no idea if this video is going to get copyrighted or not. I hope not, because I did all the credits that I needed to. I like, ooh, that's a subject I can talk about. Weather-wise, I like the winter, I like the spring, and I like fall. I don't really like summer that much. Even though I can deal with the heat, I like snow. I like seeing the foliage, and I like things a little like, I don't know. I feel like summer is such a, I'm not gonna say an out there season, but like out of all the seasons for me, like if I had to describe each one, summer is the loudest of the group. I don't really like that much. Like, I like staying cozy and snow and sledding and quiet and the rain and cold. I suppose some of the things that I like about fall, besides the weather being, rainy and all the leaves and everything, is the seasonal stuff. Like, even though I'm not a huge fan of it, pumpkin spice around, like, fall is nice. The same thing with November and December. Like, this time of year when it's winter, it's cold and it's snowy, it brings me back to when I was a kid, I suppose, to when things just seemed a lot nicer, a lot easier to understand than as an adult things are now, to where everything just feels that. And I know that's part of growing up, realizing that things are not what they seem to be, but that's okay. Because one will always have memories of snow all over the ground, the trees being covered in it, the blizzards, the snowstorms, the sledding. I even remember a year when I was a kid to where me and my brother actually went on manhunt and played manhunt in the snow. It was an absolute blast. It comes every year, and all the leaves picking up as a kid, and it's just the vibe of that season, I suppose. The spring, when stuff starts growing again, and the weather starts being a little more cooperative, reasonable, not suddenly dropping from 60 degrees during the day to 20 at night. It's more chill. It feels that way for me, I suppose. What's your favorite season? Do you have one? Tell Bun. Can definitely tell him. He won't judge you. Silently. I'm kidding. But, yeah. I suppose that's pretty much what I can think of about me. I could talk about that a little bit. If I was to say I have a type of some sort, I like short and chubby and cute, but that's yeah, we don't talk about that. So yeah, I'm not talking about that subject. We're gonna leave that there. I used to play board games a lot, and honestly, I still play them. Monopoly, sorry, Yahtzee, etc. I do like board games like that, they're fun. And I like playing card games too, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, though I don't play Pokemon and I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh much anymore either. Social battery is pretty much on at this point because I'm talking about me and that's not something I usually do, so it's a little unusual for me. It's okay. Because at some point I had to learn how to do this and I would rather it be now than never. So yeah, I guess I'll be ending this short little live in a couple of minutes. What's one more subject I could get into? What's something. If you guys can't tell, I'm very energetic and ADHD bun. I can never stay focused on one topic and jump to several different ones and look back around. So that's something. What to do? I've got my pen. I'm flying here. This is the first time that Bun's actually like talked about himself and really let people know more about him. So this feels weird. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. It's weird, but it's nice. And I suppose I should thank y'all for that, because, like I said, I don't talk very much, I'm anti-social, but I force myself to come out of my shell by working where I do and doing what I do for a hobby, which is streaming and recording games, which I always have fun doing. Yeah. We can talk a little bit about day 2 of Streamsmas, which is not going to be until the 4th of December, because I know today's the 1st, but the next one will be the 4th, and we will be playing a ridiculous Christmas game called Cthulhu Saves Christmas. I am extremely excited to play that game. And it's definitely going to be something different, because from what I've read, it's like a JRPG kind of thing. A short, like 6-hour experience or whatever, but it'll be a lot of fun to play, and I'm very excited. Yeah. So that's been a bit of Pbee. I'll definitely be catching you guys in the next set of streams, so